Show me your news. All right, Rachel, show me your news with Sony.
Sony won. Bye.
Yeah.
Sony won.
Yeah.
Later.
That's it.
We're done.
Oh, that's it. No, I didn't get to tune into all of E3, unfortunately, but I did get to tune in for the Sony E3 show, which was pretty good, and I was very, very excited to see some games in there, as I'm sure everyone else was, considering the crowd was going crazy on the day. But let's talk about some of those games, shall we?
How do you start with The Last Guardian?
Dunno,
You just
ask
tell by
Sony.
his cocky smile.
Exactly, just ask Sony.
They are my letters.
I mean, like, it got to the point where, like, okay, we were pretty confident that it's going to be there, but maybe you save that for the end.
No.
Like, as a one more thing, you start with that.
Yeah, you start with that because you're like, you go big or you go home. And if they start with something that big, it's like, oh, well, have they got bigger things to come this time? Ooh, which they did, but we'll cover that in a moment. But The Last Guardian looked gorgeous. Now, I'm not going to lie, I had no idea about anything of that game until I actually saw the conference.
And I don't blame you with that. I mean, if you're, primarily a PC gamer, you may not have been paying attention back in E3 of 2009.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
When
Nope.
on PlayStation 3, they showed this trailer for a game called The Last Guardian, which was adorable and stole all of our hearts. And now it's finally back, and it's interesting that they said that they would have canceled the game had it not been for the outpouring of fan support throughout the years.
Nice.
So in 2012, they made the shift to PlayStation 4. It's nice that they kept the same sort of visual style, but you could tell it looked better. It had a more impressive draw distance to it. And nice to see it just running in motion instead of, a trailer.
Well,
And it also has a giant dog bird thing. What the fuck even was it?
Cat Owl.
But
Apparently the 2009 version was like really, really polished up to look good for the trailer, and that was not accurate of how it played at all.
you gotta know by the team that's making this game that like we're in for some feels, especially when it comes to that big dog thing. Like,
Someone's gonna die. It's
Aggro?
gonna
What was it?
yeah.
It's gonna be like aggro all over again when he falls down the cliff.
Oh god.
If you're bitching about spoilers, it's been 10 years.
Just-
Stop
yeah,
it.
come on.
Yeah.
Like
But
like
what even was it?
The second the trailer started, Ben started staring at me. He was like, "I never gave up. I never lost hope."
Okay,
What is
its
this
name
thing?
is Trico, and in Japanese it's Toriko, and that's supposed to be a combination of the word for bird and for cat.
So he's not a Pokemon.
No.
Which is
He's
also
not, he's
interesting.
not actually a Trico.
Trico! Which is also interesting because, Trico is kind of like the name of the game, at least for a while, because it was the third game of Team Eco.
Third Ica, yeah.
Yeah. That's really interesting. But yeah, that happened, and then you go from that into Horizon Zero Dawn, which it was kind of a badly kept secret for a while that it was known as Horizon, and that there would be like mechanized animals and dinosaurs and all that. Zero Dawn, kind of a weird subtitle, but overall, man,
Looks good.
it looks real good.
I'm down with
gotta
it.
get a PS4 for that.
Still don't understand why she was hunting robots. She can't eat them, but whatever.
Seems to have a cool lore behind it. Nice to have the female playable character. That was, I think, like a
That's
big
a
shift
theme.
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looked pretty well geared and like she could kick some ass. And I was like, I'm quite happy with this. I'm cool with this.
Interesting to hear stories, though, that apparently, in the lead up to the E3 reveal, there was some hesitation to like, oh, maybe we don't go with the female playable character. Maybe we'll do some focus testing.
Nope.
And like the team, that was their vision to have the female playable character, and I'm glad they stuck with it. But apparently there was some hesitancy there.
It's just like the Naughty Dog stories with some of the publishers where they were like, "Hey, don't put Ellie on the cover,"
yeah. Mhm.
and they were like, "No, we're gonna put Ellie on the cover." Fuck.
She's
Oh yeah,
important.
like the first what was it? The first trailer for the Assassin's Creed thing that I
Yeah.
saw. I was like, where's Evie?
Yeah, where's Evie?
What the heck?
In Ubisoft show, they don't show Eevee in the pre-rendered gorgeous trailer, but they did show it at Sony, and that was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty damn good.
We'll get to Ubisoft.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy, will
we'll
we.
get there
Oh,
soon.
no.
We'll get there soon.
Yeah, games here and there look nice. Firewatch look cool. What about that Dreams game from Media Molecule?
Oh.
Yeah, no. I'm so afraid.
That polar bear is just playing that piano.
Look at the little baby polar bear in the snow.
It was so cute. He's like, this is my mommy. This is how I don't ride in the snow. And now my mommy's playing on piano and you'll forever have nightmares.
And have a Coca-Cola today.
Yeah.
Firewatch looked really, really interesting, and I really, 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 really want to play it.
I think it's from the writer of the first Walking Dead series for Telltale.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it until this conference, and I am super down.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds super interesting.
Then you have, World of Final Fantasy, and it's like, a little chibi, okay, whatever.
Final Fantasy is cute, but, nah.
But don't show me
I'd play
15.
Yeah, not at all, because Gamescom's apparently where they're starting the big, push for marketing hype with that. So I think we're going to see a release date there. But we heard that before. But then the bomb drops.
But after that point, I think I kind of wet my pants a little bit when it came to Final Fantasy VII Remake coming out.
Oh, that's... What a bomb.
Oh.
They're going to change the story a bit, they said.
So does this mean we're not going to get the PC port?
No, we're still getting the PC port for PS4.
It's going to be like $16.
Sorry. I think I'll save all of my $16 to go towards the new Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite reaction to this was somebody did a comic where they announce it, they're like covering their mouth and like, oh my god, it's finally happening. Running through their office screaming, Square's remaking Final Fantasy VII! And then they stop and like look to this, like, Square's remaking Final Fantasy VII, and then they're in fetal position under their desk, crying, Square's remaking Final Fantasy VII!
It's every fanboy's dream.
That last one was them curling up in fear.
Okay. It's not my favorite Final Fantasy, overall, but I've wanted a remake of Final Fantasy VII for a long time. I quite like it. It can either bomb or it can go really well. And I'm hoping it's going to go really well, because it looks like they're changing up some things that Cloud's doing with his sword. There's actually, me and my friend yesterday, when we got together for a day outing, we were having a look at, designs of Cloud, these new designs. And his sword's completely different, it's broken up into little ones, kind of like with Advent Children, looks a little bit different, and I think he's going to play a bit differently than what he originally did, which would be nice.
They worded it really weirdly in that, first off, Nomura, the Kingdom Hearts guy, he is directing it. And apparently he didn't know that.
Yeah, isn't that something?
They pulled a soccer eye on him, where they came to him and was like, so if you remade Final Fantasy VII, how would you do it? And he was like, oh, I'd do this and this and this and this. And they're like, huh, that's pretty good. And then they left. And then they showed the very first press release about it. And it said directed by Nomura. And he was like, there's a mistake in there. It says I'm the director. Yeah. What? So,
the game's not going to be out for a long time, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe 2017 at the very earliest.
Well,
It's like the 20th
Yeah, I would
anniversary.
say that.
I'm pretty sure they probably started development fucking 2 months ago.
I wonder if they've been working on it in secret, really.
Yeah, because it's been known for about a year because there was an interview with Adam Boyes who knew about it, even when they were doing the bullshit with the PC port. It was a thing. The remake was a thing when all of that was going down. And it's you can't say anything.
I think it's probably going to take 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see
We'll
those
see.
HD renders of Cloud dressed as a girl.
Oh yeah, I totally
Yeah.
do. And where we have to get him the silk panties.
Oh yeah.
And, he sees orgies through, a keyhole.
God, I seriously gotta play 7 sooner than later.
Oh, this happens within the first disc of the game.
Yep.
So the next game isn't exactly one for me, but it might be one for you. I mean, there was Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
It looks a little different than most of the Call of Duty
Drops.
games. And Ben, we'll get to talking about later, that you recently played Advanced Warfare. But it looks a little different, more futuristic sort of style stuff. I think just the bigger news here is that Sony got the exclusivity with the DLC and the marketing and all that for Call of Duty. They ripped it away from Microsoft, as was predicted. That's impressive. That's a big get. Because
It's a very big get. It's a big moneymaker.
The overall thing for Sony this year, and we can talk about more in the wrap-up, is that, the first-party lineup is weak. It's the second year in a row that they had their big holiday game pushed next year, with the Order 1886 previously and now Uncharted 4.
Yep.
And the first-party lineup is rather weak, but you have a massive third-party set of support, and that could be, with money going towards it or whatnot, but it's also because the gamers have spoken with their wallets, the sales speak for themselves, when, honestly, the best exclusive right now on PlayStation 4 is Bloodborne.
Yeah.
And
It's a good game, but...
It is a good game, but when that doesn't really come from Sony first-party studios because they're taking their time to develop games or not even announce projects, it's an interesting first couple of years for PlayStation 4. But, I guess that's more big
Next
picture.
year is definitely a year to own a PlayStation 4.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Like, no question.
Oh, yeah.
No question.
Oh, definitely.
No Man's Sky, is nice to see more of that game. I wonder if that's going to be like maybe a betas this year. It seems pretty far along. I mean, gotta think Sony's throwing people at it to get it going. But then you have the third bomb. The third big megaton news of the show. Shenmue.
See, I played Shenmue when I was younger, and I was like, I can't actually remember the cliffhanger from Shenmue 2, so I felt kind of bad. But, I guess that's a cool thing that they're making a new one, and they're gonna get it to be Kickstarter funded. I think it's already been funded by now, hasn't it?
Oh, easily. I think it's up to
Easily?
$4 million.
Holy shit.
It was one of those less than 24 hours it met the $2 million.
We
Wow.
estimate it was funded around 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Wow, really? Damn.
Pretty remarkable. There are some things after the fact that it's another one of those that it's using to just gauge interest in it, that Sony's doing a lot of work, but they wanted to see how successful it, and there's question answers if that's a fair thing to do. I think it's a big deal as someone who has not played the first two, but just for, game history, that it's one of those vaporware games that, it's finally real, it's finally a thing, and that's really exciting.
I think it'd be a game you'd enjoy, actually, sweetie.
Yeah, I probably would. I probably would. I mean, they're getting the voice of Rio, coming back, or Rue. Like I see cutscenes and they call him Rue.
I think it's Rio.
It is like Rio Hazuki, but whatever. Ben, I gotta give you props because when we were saying like, oh, is this the year for this? Blah blah blah. We had Shenmue HD collection down as a yes or no, and you said like, I mean. I'll say no for this, but if it were Shenmue 3, I'd say yes.
I went on a bit of a power trip that evening.
Yeah, it was scary. I was frightened.
You're like, I was right. All hail me.
Well, he told me, I just sent Peter a message that said, Shenmue 3, I am unkillable.
Yes, he did. Then there were some weird points from this conference. I mean, with the Disney Infinity 3 stuff. PlayStation View, it's nice to see that that's coming along, but sure, mention it. I'm glad they didn't spend too terribly long on it. Destiny, I didn't care to see, but I get because they have the big marketing connection with Activision. Yeah, Activision and Sony are just in bed with each other, really.
Well, right after that, Destiny fans got really mad. So, it didn't really work out in their favor.
$40 DLC pack, Red Bull shit. Oh, it was interviews with Bungie execs and all sorts of things. Interesting that, Star Wars Battlefront, showing that, and I'm watching and it's like, well, the best part of EA's show is already just it's a fraction of Sony's show here. It was an interesting conference. I mean, after the fact, I'm thinking it's the best one I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, Sony's conference was just amazing. I mean, I've only watched a few E3s. I've only watched the past few years, so I'm not a veteran or anything like that. I'm no expert. My God, I loved their presentation.
I think the one weakness it had though was what's this year. Yeah, they showed things like Until Dawn, and that's coming out this year in August. But a lot of things that were for next year or the year after that. And the one strength that the competitor Microsoft had over them is that they showed what is going to be for this year.
Well, and I kind of liked that because like Sony could have totally done that, but like we've already seen all the games they have coming out this year, and Sony seems to really have. They really seem to be focusing on games that we hadn't seen yet, or at least hadn't seen much of. Did we talk about the Uncharted 4?
I was going to say, like, how do we forget?
Because that was amazing. Every time they demo Uncharted 4, something breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, for an E3 that had been pretty, short of technical gaffes, because we've certainly seen those in the past. Like, oh, please don't have this be the one. At first, I almost thought, like, they were just lingering on a shot, because, my God, it was gorgeous. It was really like,
Nathan Drake is just, he's fabulous, baby.
He didn't fall through the world, so it could have been worse.
Right.
But like, here's the advantage to that though. At least that's how we knew it was a live demo.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just a pre-recorded thing. There was
absolutely.
somebody in the back with a controller playing the game.
Someone in the back being like, "Oh God."
And the controller died.
It was, if you hear, there's an interview that Kind of Funny did with Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley, who are the creative director and the game director. And Bruce Straley was the one on stage that was, with the game demo. And so he had a story of how, like, he starts, like, moving and, like, it's not going. And, like, he's just fidgeting and, like, trying to find another controller because he had a backup one. And they were able to get that one to go back to the OS and then, like, reboot it. So it was really interesting, like, that, yeah, it was live. It was one of the few live demos. They did have a video as backup just in case, but my goodness. And then, I'll show my YouTube video recommendation, but then a couple days ago on the 1st of July, they put out the full demo that media got to see behind closed doors at E3 because it continued past where the E3 show demo ended. Dude, like, that game can't come soon enough. Naughty Dog is the best. I'm excited.
But you guys got to realize how terrible your luck seems to be with showing off this game.
Yeah, just crunch on the game, work hard now.
Just
we
take
don't
my
need to
money
see
and
anymore.
give it to me now.
Yeah, we don't need to see anymore.
I don't really. It's like none of these problems are like, oh, the game is fundamentally broken. It's just, what the hell? Now this decides to happen?
Yeah, because they were saying, like, it was fine to just demo the game. Like, once the game's run, they have no problem with that. They practice enough, they know it inside and out. Like, that's not the issue. It's just like the weird shit that happens. Yeah, but it was a great conference overall. I think very entertaining and one of the favorites I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No Sly 5.
Yeah, no Sly 5. No Sly 5.
Fuck Sony.
Seriously.
It's like, we've already told you everything already that we're bringing out this year, so we have to, like, give you something big to want to keep you playing on the PS4 for the coming years. Look at all of our shit.
That's when I'm buying one.
I would have been a little more okay with if they would have shown off something from the movie. But no, we didn't get anything. Sly Cooper's dead, I guess. Thanks, Sony.
Oh, they haven't, like, tweeted about the movie in a very long time. Like, the company making it.
Something else I want to mention is they mentioned a little bit about Project Morpheus, and there was apparently a lot of presence of it on the show floor, but no final name. I expected a lot more presence of it at the show, to be honest. So, for it to be a spring 2016 product, they got to show more, I think, maybe at their Paris show, because they're skipping Gamescom, because it's just too close to E3. They got to space it out between E3, what they're going to do at this Paris game show, and then PlayStation Experience at the end of the year in December. So they got to space out their news there. But I was surprised that the overall lack of presentation for Morpheus stuff during their conference. But the things that were yes on the yes or no, I mean, Uncharted Collection for PS4 announced. That was a before E3 announcement, but that was a yes. Uncharted 4 was an on-stage demo at the conference, despite what some people tried to argue otherwise. Guerrilla, Bend, or Media Molecule did reveal their PlayStation 4 game that was Guerrilla and Media Molecule. Nothing from Bend yet, though. And a sequel was announced with the last game in the series within 5 years. That happened to be Hitman, because the Hitman trailer was there at Sony's and then also at Square Enix, but that counts. Even it was not necessarily first party, but it was a sequel announced at that show. Strange to see that Level 5 had a promised RPG apparently at E3, and that never showed.
Yep.
That was really, really strange. But overall, I mean, a really good show. Very entertaining. And I was a fan.
Show me your news.